Hello there, Guardian Falco here, and this is my first response video. Anyway, if you haven't been hiding under a rock lately, you might have seen the Amazon teaser trailer for the Rings of Power and, oh my, those downvotes. Glad YouTube got rid of those pesky downvote numbers, huh? Unless you have the Chrome extension. With all these downvotes, Amazon is seeing the writing on the wall that no one is gonna watch or even enjoy it. So, down in the corners of the Office of Diversity in Mordor, a video was formed. One video to cringe them all. They crafted a video to get people back on board. And this is the ratio. How did they get that number? Well, it could be people just hate clicking the downvote button. I guess we'll see, won't we? But oh boy, we're in for a ride, and before we start, I will let you know I hated the video from many angles. I will go over it in point by point with references to other channels as well. So join me, and we can just huddle together for safety to see if it's really that bad.
Take a breath, something new would happen, and it was
It's Middle-earth, there's never peace, right?
If, like, Sauron is hot, I feel like people would be like, I can fix him.
Middle-earth had like a club.
Yo, this tune is banging!
Awestruck, mystified, and starstruck.
Wow.
I just let the thing play, just to let you know what we are dealing with. If you haven't caught on, this is what is later on in the video. Now you know why some people will need a bucket to hurl in while watching this. Also, I'm skipping the Amazon sneak peek preview part.
My name's Mr. Isla, and I'm so excited because Prime Video's new epic fantasy series, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power.
Please don't take the Lord of the Rings name in vain, please. Thank you. I know. He has to say it, but it just feels wrong. I hear someone out there already. Falco, we haven't heard anything bad. Yet. Aren't you jumping the gun? I say, no. Because I know where this goes, and it gets so bad, Godzilla's nuke breath would do less damage to you than this video ever will.
Just dropped with a teaser trailer, and I'm here with the Fellowship of Influencers.
Fellowship of Influencers? Okay, if you are a true Lord of the Rings fan, or any kind of fan, would you want to be called an influencer? No, because if I were a fan of something, I would think the product is good for me to be a fan of it. It should stand on its own. Additionally, it would hurt my integrity. Basically being called a shill, and this is not a good start to the video.
Nell, Joel, and Kelsey, how you guys doing?
very excited after watching that.
Come on.
What's with all the arm waving? Did you guys practice this? Nah, this is as natural as Taco Bell ground beef.
Very intrigued to just see everyone else's thoughts and just gather what we all think.
That's what we're here for. All right, 3 words to describe The Rings of Power teaser trailer. Go.
3 words, huh? Not your thoughts, or give them 1 minute each. Nope, just 3 words. Makes it easier to remember these words ahead of time, and having these lines come across as action movie one-liners to catch on to.
Okay, breathtaking. I literally didn't breathe.
Oh no, you're still here. What a shame.
Exhilarating and intriguing.
I did notice that you weren't breathing.
Yeah,
I was gonna call first aid.
It was like
Natural dialogue.
I was trying, but every time I was like, okay, take a breath, something new would happen, and it was
Literally, like, and I was like, are you gonna fall off your chair? Please
No?
no. I would say like expansive, because we're getting this like whole new look into the second age on screen, and it's gonna be so amazing.
This is so boring. Because they're not even saying anything of substance because of their limited time and how they practice this. How do I know Well, it will come up later in the video. In any case, all they say is that they are excited from a teaser, like kids waiting for Christmas. Can these people grow up?
Also want to say,
Oh, representative? What do you mean? I'm sure we'll get more into that.
representative, because we're getting like more diversity within this series. Like we're seeing our first black elf, we're seeing the first female dwarf.
This is what you mean? This kind of logic is really brain dead to me. I can only enjoy it if I see someone who also is a space bird. Or white. This sounds kind of racist to me and shows where Amazon is coming from. If you need to see someone on screen with the same skin color to feel special, that's your problem, okay? Don't project that onto me or other people. Same goes for disabilities as well.
待って俺もフロード様と一緒に行きます止めたきゃ袋に詰めて家に送れよやったぞどうもで行き先は Burn their ass up. Burn their ass up.
Wow. Go on, Sam. Ask Rosie for a dance. I think I'll just have another ale. Oh, Sam is shy.
And I'm very looking forward to like looking at that. And then I
Just fun to look at. Forget the lore, I guess.
guess like intriguing, because obviously this period of history within the Middle Earth is very rife with notions of the plot of like The Hobbit and The Lord.
By the way, did you see that edit? You'll see that more and more as the video goes on. I guess they wanted to do that because the comment of just them wanting to see it for fun without mentioning lore. Now they do after the edit. Almost like they did bullet points or something during it. Anyway, Amazon bought certain Lord of the Rings stories, so that's what they are allowed to do. Thank goodness for that, at least.
The rings and seeing how the Rings of Power are being forged.
Definitely more than 3 words. but-
The forging of the Rings of Power took place in the Second Age and covers thousands of years. It's obvious they can't cover all of it in the show. You need someone who knows what to keep in and what to keep out. For example, taking out Tom Bombadil in the Fellowship of the Ring, which I believe was a good decision on Peter Jackson's part, because it would ruin the tone of the film and the threat of the ring. Peter had a passion for the film and a respect for the lore.
Remember this from Lindsay Weber, the executive producer of The Rings of Power and former Bad Reboot employee. It felt only natural to us that an adaptation of Tolkien's work would reflect what the world actually looks like.
In terms of the thematic material, we didn't want to put any of our own baggage. I mean, we had no interest in putting our messages into this movie, but we thought that we should honor Tolkien by putting his messages into it. And we thought he cared about things. The countryside and the rise of evil, and he cared passionately about certain issues. And we thought what we should do to honor him is to make sure that what he cared about ends up in the movie. That's what we tried to do.
Amazon focused on hiring based on skin color and gender identity in order to say, look, we're hip. We're just like you, progressive people.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
It comes off as so cringy and tone deaf, it doesn't help that a billion-dollar company is telling you what they know what Tolkien wanted.
I take it. I love it.
Thank you. I'm an over-explainer.
I love it.
Yeah, over-explain it. Sure. I wish you did, because it would show how little you understand the source material. But we will get to that.
I would say awestruck, mystified, and starstruck.
Wow.
She just repeated what the other woman said? I mean, awestruck could be breathtaking. Anyway, they're only hyping up the new show, which they haven't seen, by the way, by being vague as possible. And you're probably saying, well, you're doing the opposite, aren't you? Yeah, but being positive and being vague is really good, but being negative in a vague way, well, you're just being toxic then. Yeah, because there's no such thing as toxic positivity, is there?
Oh,
Very strong words.
that is like the word for the next teaser trailer.
Yeah.
Or just like
Popping
pop
up
here.
with your name on the byline.
I guess the rest of them do hand signals when he does them. Like he's some kind of cheerleader or something.
Jafar, he's our man if he can't do it. Right!
So in the teaser trailer, and obviously with a lot of stuff that you've probably read about it, we're introduced to the first black elf. We're introduced to the first female dwarf. Now diversity, especially on...
This makes no sense to Tolkien's lore, but Amazon wanted the virtue signal. Here's the thing about Tolkien, okay? He wrote his story, his world, after being in World War I. He survived and saw the horrors of war up close. Through it, he hated the modern age or the Industrial Revolution. And that is closely tied to each conflict in the books he wrote. This is an insult to his long legacy. Amazon doesn't care about Tolkien's work. In fact, they fired a Tolkien expert in order to hire a new one who would fit better for their values. Tolkien took inspiration from Norse mythology to create his world with some Catholicism in there as well. These have historical context in Western or white culture.
Nazi!
So, there's going to be a lack of races in the series, and in Tolkien's lore, it's reflected this way, where the gods created the elves and dwarves in their own image. If there was an African folklore story and they wanted no white people in it, that would be just fine. But we must move heaven and earth if it's the other way around. Elves were not really black in Lord of the Rings, and neither were dwarves. In fact, all dwarves were white and have beards. The reason why people are so upset is because you don't care about Tolkien's lore by changing things because it's not modern enough for you. It doesn't represent today's world, and it's a stupid thing to say about someone's work who has put decades into it.
The Rings of Power looks like it's going to be dead on arrival. From the Vanity Fair article, quote, Galadriel's world is a raging sea, far from the wise, ethereal elven queen that Cate Blanchett brought to Peter Jackson's acclaimed films. The Galadriel played by Morpheus Clark in Amazon's upcoming series is thousands of years younger, as angry and brash as she is clever, and certain that evil is looming closer than anyone realizes. Okay, so that's not from the books. I've read The Silmarillion every year since 2003. Runners Patrick McKay and J.D. Payne kind of ignored that, which explains why Galadriel is nothing like Galadriel and why Elrond, yes, that's supposed to be Elrond, why he's described as an architect and politician, not the healer and lore master aligned with Gil-galad like he actually was. Then it's supposed to be a Sylvan elf, who are part of the Nondor, who are described as having dark hair and white or olive skin. Think Mediterranean. Yes, there are some people of that area who are dark-skinned. However, the mentioning of white skin implies Tolkien is talking about the lighter olive skin, not this. Also in a forbidden romance with a human named Bronwyn. Right. So, because the Tolkien estate blocked you from using Beren and Luthien, Tuor and Idril, and Arendelle and Elwig, you didn't just made up a new elf and human romance. What happened the last time someone made up a forbidden romance that wasn't in the real story? Oh, that's right, it sucked. Nor does it make sense that they would look that way since they all live underground, meaning out of the sun.
Help again, coincidentally, with some scholars who might consider themselves activists and academics first.
At the end of the day, Tolkien died in the 70s. So it's up to us, to basically step our game up and see how his works can respond through the world that they created to the challenges of today.
Of course, the black elf doesn't have a wig. He has a perfect haircut, and the black dwarf doesn't have a beard. And quickly on the subject of female dwarves having beards, it appears that the Tolkien Gateway, which I referenced in a video right here, has changed their description, one that's been up for years. Originally, at the end, it said all dwarves had beards from the beginning of their lives. That has now been removed. And now they're saying in the War of the Jewels, all dwarves are described as having beards, including women. However, as published in The Nature of Middle-earth, Tolkien later excluded female dwarves when listing who he imagined with beards, stating that all male dwarves had beards. I would like to remind you that The War of the Jewels is a book that was edited by Christopher Tolkien and published in 1994. And The Nature of Middle-earth was not edited by Christopher Tolkien, and it came out last year.
As a famous quote says from Tolkien himself, "Evil is not able to create anything new. It can only distort and destroy what has been invented or made by the forces of good." Amazon is definitely the evil force here, and they are twisting JR's work to be greedy. Even going as far, have these paid shills tell you how excited they are to watch the new series. This was to quiet the fan rage you were seeing.
Screen as an actor means a lot to me because growing up, I hardly had that, watching TV and watching a lot of films and stuff. Never saw people of my color. So it's exciting.
Sounds like a personal problem to me. Also, I don't need to see someone of my race or gender on screen to feel better about myself. It's very simplistic, surface level thing to think of, isn't it? And it's kind of racist if you think about it. Imagine if you were inspired by Michael Jordan, Wesley Snipes, or Will Smith, but you look nothing like them. This happens all the time with people in the limelight, for better or for worse. All this representation just creates tokens, not characters. When you hold certain races or gender above others, then you can't do anything too negative with them. We need to be able to make characters of any race or gender to be anything. This video, this guy says it's good just to see other races in Tolkien's world, even though it makes no sense. Almost making race something to be looked up to the most, and the rest infers this sentiment.
To see that, diversity is being explored in the Rings of Power. What are your thoughts on the casting decisions then?
I'm very excited for it because Tolkien's work was always about being inclusive. I mean, we see it through the Fellowship, like a bunch of people from different backgrounds coming together.
This guy almost has it. However, it has nothing to do with skin color. You see, dwarves and elves don't get along because of past disputes in the Second Age, which leads to them being racist toward each other. This is why Gimli speaks up in the movie and says he can't trust an elf at all. Hobbits are just chilling and keeping to themselves. In fact, Gandalf is a different race, being a wizard, is like an angel in the lore. Man, or mankind in Lord of the Rings, don't trust others and think they can do things on their own. What was the point of me telling you that? Because even though they look white, they are in fact different races, or species. Amazon only cares about skin color diversity and not about individual diversity. After all, what do you think this talk is about? What do you think they care about?
In order to face the common enemy, being Sauron, and just seeing the casting decisions, it's really, really exciting to see.
Wait, was that another cut? Nah, I'm sure I'm seeing things.
It's gonna mean so much to me personally because it's getting that representation in Middle-earth. Young kids are gonna see that on screen, and
well, people, young and old, will continue to see Peter Jackson's films because he put a lot of effort into creating that world and making it larger than life. It will live on as a piece of art. Today's movies and shows don't care about the enduring of time. It's all about consume current product and get excited about next product. It becomes a conveyor belt of food, and if you don't like it, or something like it, just wait till something else comes down the line and see it might be good. Ask yourself this. When's the last time you rewatched a show that came out a few years ago? It's okay to focus on a show and think about it. Like, again, food you can chew on. If you chew on it, you can find out if it's truly good or not. We grew up, I hope, wanting more out of our media, from art, and what a full-course meal tastes like, instead of something that's pushed out to keep people involved until next product. I see this in this video, this so-called superfans, in the teaser Amazon put out.
It's just going to be really nice for them to be like, oh, hey, there's someone that looks just like me. Being like an elf and a dwarf, and yeah, it just fills me with a lot of hope for like the future of the Rings of Power and seeing like much more diversity being included as well.
It's going to be
You know what inspires people? Acts of bravery, not being a different race. Yeah. These are great moments, and because these are full-fledged characters, when something bad happens to them, we feel bad for them. This is inspiring to millions, no, billions of people, and has nothing to do
Byron, right?
with
The next
race.
Definitely.
What about you, Shna?
In the original film series, which I absolutely adored,
I sense a but coming.
but there are not many women in it.
Well, let me tell you a secret. In medieval times and throughout history, war is a providence of men. This is the same fact with the warriors of Lord of the Rings. The Fellowship, Rohan, Gondor, and even Sauron's forces. There are strong female characters in the series, of course, but these are the exceptions, not the rule. Women were protected from frontline combat in these times, because women didn't have the expendable nature to them like men did. Not that women never served in combat. That's not what I'm saying. Also remember, Tolkien was in World War I and surrounded by his brothers in arms, so that's what he wrote about in his books.
And the three women who are in it never speak to one another. I don't really do so.
So, want to see how many times Legolas speaks to Frodo directly?
You have my bow.
I don't think these people watched The Lord of the Rings. The three women have names, you know, and are nowhere near each other on Middle-earth. Fake gamer girl detected.
It will be so cool to be able to see more female representation, to maybe see them actually interact with one another. I'm very excited to see it.
Wow, that's all they need to do is talk to each other, and it's great. What a big brain thing to say for someone who is 10 years old.
Ever had a dreams that you once that you could.
What about you, Kels?
Oh, it just makes me so excited for the next generation because, like, as you said, like, growing up, like, I was still excited about being an elf or a hobbit and joining in with it, even though I wasn't represented, like, even.
So if you can play pretend without representation, what is the problem even? I mean, if you can do it without... This is so strange to me. Some people's favorite characters are not even human.
Like, my disability or my queerness wasn't represented. It just makes me so happy and heartwarm. Like,
But on the note of not having your disability represented, well, actually, it was in the Peter Jackson films. Look at Gothmog. He's got a disability and he's commanding legion.
gonna be seeing younger people. Literally.
The Rings of Power.
Wow, that's a harsh cut. But hold on. Just because it's edited doesn't mean it was pre-planned. The problem is, though, is that why these cuts are so harsh. They're trying to get the right reactions from the panel. I don't think there is another explanation. Even if there wasn't pre-planned, that was a crappy edit for $1 billion company to have.
Power is the reason why the four of us are sitting here today.
Yeah.
And it's like, we probably...
No, it's because Amazon put you out there as shills, and you are their ringleader.
wouldn't have if the series wasn't being made.
Like you said, it really is a true like meaning of fellowship.
Yeah, we're a fellowship.
Yeah.
Real meaning of fellowship is to agree on everything and nod your head. Don't disagree, or we may make another Superfans video.
Go to a salad bar for lunch.
I am Big Bad Buddy Bird, and I want Chinese food.
You see what happens when you disagree, kids?
Fellowship is friends coming together and do an activity or going to a church service for worship. You guys just met.
So from the teaser trailer, what intrigued you the most?
Rings happening or like being formed?
In the lore, like Sauron basically like helps forge the rings, and so I think they start making like some initial rings that like don't have much power. So, but
The way you describe it sounds like Sauron.
Notice that they sort of cut her off for the more detail coming out of the other guy there. It's like they needed more info to make people intrigued, or at least more than rings happening and vagueness. My point is, they're being fed information between cuts.
Is it like a ring storm? Like, can I try that one? I'm a size
One of those.
One doesn't fit.
How these people talk. It's like they were making fun of how they themselves would talk, if you know what I mean.
For me as well, like the one thing that I spotted from the trailer was just like how expansive of a look we're gonna get towards like the second age.
Wait, what? It was like 2 minutes long. It was a teaser. Do you know something we don't?
Yeah.
It's been not previously like very much touched upon, and so I'm very excited to see how Prime Video like takes it and just shows us this whole kind of new look.
Kind of. Like. These are phrases you say when you don't really know what you're talking about.
Look at Middle Earth.
Watching the trailer and trying to work out, right, where are we here? The locations and the sets, it's all very exciting. So just trying to theorize what we're going to see in the series, because there's still so much we don't know.
And that's all for the theories. In fact, the teaser was a big nothing burger. Like an ad you see on one of those free show websites in the corner that says, "You must play this game," or something like that. It was cookie cutter and looked like any other fantasy media out there.
I also want to know why they were fighting. Who's fighting? Why are they fighting?
Literally.
Where are we? Who are they? What's going on?
I mean,
hold on. Aren't you super fans? How do you not know who the enemy is or what's going on in the Second Age? Didn't you say Sauron makes the great rings? Do you remember what you said? No, of course not. And I think it might get worse.
It's not made worth without a bit of beef. All right.
Why did you cut the laughs? I don't get these edits.
Let's talk main characters. Give me your theories of who you might have seen in the teaser trailer.
I've seen a lot of talking about my girl.
The hand movements are getting weird. It's like they're greedy prospectors from the Old West. Oh, I want them gold. They wanted more hand movement because the more you're animated, the more you look excited. I see this a lot in ads, but also in interviews where the host is told to be more animated in order to look like the host wants to be there and wants to be engaged in what's going on. Same goes for the superfan thing, but it looks like Amazon gave them bad direction because it looks like they don't know what to do with their hands. It comes off really super fake and funny looking.
Galadriel.
Yeah, I love Galadriel.
That part in the trailer when she come around waterfall with the knife and like,
yes.
Oh, look, it's a strong female character. Here's the thing about that, okay? So I love good characters. As long as they're written well and follow their own ideals set up by the writer. If they change any of their core behaviors, then we need to see that change. This is good writing 101. But these days it seems we're getting less of that. This is apparent with female characters in mainstream movies and TV shows. Rey Skywalker, Mulan 2019, Rey in The Last Dragon, Kate Kane from Batwoman, Black Widow from her own movie, and many more. Some of these are Mary Sue's or Gary Stu, depending on your definition. They ignore cause and effect, which most characters go through to grow themselves. This includes not taking long-lasting damage from anything, making friends quickly, being liked by people without much effort, being better than all other characters, and of course being able to talk down to others with moral superiority.
Mulan, listen very carefully. No! This hyperdrive blows are going to be pieces of us in 3 different systems. What'd you do?
I bypassed the compressor.
Huh.
Characters from every walk of life needs ups and downs just like us fellow humans. Heck, even characters that aren't human are created with this in mind. So let's look at this image here. She is climbing a mountain without climbing gear while holding on with a dagger. If she messes up at all, she's dead, or if the dagger didn't stick into that mountain when she jumped. Lucky for her, huh?
I'm already obsessed. I'm already obsessed with
The way we've seen her in the movies, she's been very like flowy, with her,
Yeah.
serene. She's not doing much, and this time she's like full on.
Not doing much.
Sure, not doing much. And we're talking about the films here. She helped the White Council. She helped fight off Sauron. She helped the Fellowship. They wouldn't have made it without her.
Of the Galadrim, worthy of the skill of our woodland kin. These are the daggers of the Noldoreen. They have already seen service in war, made of heathline. Thank you, my lady. So sorry.
Helped the Fellowship in major ways. In fact, without her, the ring would never be destroyed in Mount Doom. To people like these, so-called superfans, you're not a strong female character if you're not doing the same things as a man does. In this case, a woman doing the same thing on the battlefield. What a regressive thing to think. Galadriel was never a warrior or in charge of any such army as Amazon will have you believe. These superfans should have questions why they're doing this. Also, she has a husband by this point in the Second Age. Where is he? Amazon is super progressive, so a man being there would ruin the independent woman they wanted, probably.
Because we are so far in the past, and I'm so excited to just see this younger version of her, and there's so much.
Who knows, man? She would have went to
Thinking, not even once. Notice all the vagueness again. Trust us, we're super fans.
You might have gone to school. Like, Galadriel, you're in detention. No magic in the class.
I mean, I want her dagger.
Hard cuts. In the middle of our interview, hard cuts. In the middle of our live.
It looks
very cool.
Stunning and beautiful, and I
might
want
have
it.
to fight for it, man. Because
I want things from show. I am real fan. Beep boop.
she looks good at that.
She would kill me. I'm definitely excited to see like this kind of.
What? Another cut? Yeah, I know I complain about the sudden cuts, but why so often after the other one? They couldn't wait for them to stop laughing, or maybe they were given instructions after the laughter to talk about other things? We may never know.
Younger and maybe more inexperienced Galadriel, and just see kind of how we see through the Rings of Power, like how the experiences will shape her.
We do know. It's called the books.
I want to know whose the hand was at the end.
Yeah, that was
Hobbit.
interesting. Because it was a little hand, I think that was a
The
hobbit.
Hobbit. I am all about hobbits, as you can tell. So.
I wonder, any theory?
To be fair, hobbits did exist during the Second Age, but were not noted in any kind of history. In fact, no other race even mentions hobbits in their history books. Hobbits didn't exist in the Shire until the Third Age. because of all the wars and dragon attacks, stuff like that. If this takes place in the Shire before he was called that, with a hobbit in the show, then they're not paying attention to the lore again.
On who the hobbit might be, if it is a hobbit. Is it a young Smeagol?
Maybe like some ancestor of the Baggins or something.
Yeah,
Always those Bagginses getting into trouble.
They should never.
You know, it's good to speculate. Maybe you guys are right. But if they did either of those things for this one hobbit, then it's nostalgia bait, most likely. Jingle keys. Kind of like how Disney runs their movies and shows now. Hey, look, here's that guy in this one episode. Or, oh my gosh, it's that other chick in the background. It's really lazy, but at least Amazon might do more with this hobbit if she is a main character. Giving her more of a role, but that doesn't mean a character is just more than surface level characteristics. They could still be lazy, like, again, what Disney did with Boba Fett or Captain Marvel.
I disagree. We wouldn't have a whole thing if they didn't leave.
That's true. That's very true.
I just love the fact that we're touching upon the second age of Middle-earth, because it's really one of the times where a lot of like the underlaying kind of plot threads of the Lord of the Rings comes into things.
Yeah.
And so we get to see.
Again, we just don't see it on screen. It's in the books. But of course, he does mean with visuals. I wouldn't mind, really, seeing the second age in a TV show. The problem is how you do it. How much you use the source material you use. And does it stay true to the spirit of the original? I don't want to get into the adaptation argument right now, but you do need to make changes when you transfer something from a book to a movie. When Peter Jackson made his Lord of the Rings movies, he didn't want to put his views into it. He wanted the spirit of Tolkien to be maintained throughout the trilogy. Even if you don't like the changes from the books to the films, you can't deny the spirit of Tolkien is there. Already the fans of Tolkien have concerns about the Rings of Power show because it obviously shows some contradictions. This teaser looks like any other fantasy show with lots of money behind it. And that's not a good thing.
Like the rings. Hopefully, we'll see the Rings of Power being forged.
Yes.
We get to see Sauron potentially.
That's the thing, 'cause in the original Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, we saw.
Yeah, duh. It's called the Rings of Power. And the others are like, that's a good point.
Sauron battling, the armies, and Isildur cut his finger off. But that was like so brief, and you don't really get to see Sauron in his prime.
All this is talking about Sauron and just hyping the show. I know it's not news and it's the purpose, but these are supposed to be true fans. It just feels off to me because of the meta of what this interview is.
Which is what's so exciting about this, because we get to see him be very deceitful, hopefully.
Yes.
Because during this era, he does do a lot of corruption and manipulation.
Yeah. It's so cringy, and the worst is just around the corner.
Love the origin story, like gatekeep girl boss. I love that we're going so far back. Especially, I think there's something very cool with prequels in the way that they can make you love the things you already love even more.
Or worse.
Anakin! No!
I killed them all. They're dead. But the women and the children too.
The Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?
In the galaxy. And a cunning warrior. I understand you've become quite a good pilot yourself. And he was a good friend.
Before they can all leave, Femputer is walking towards the ship and she shouts, "Rebellion!" really loud, and you just want to die, but damn reason. So before we go over more of that, they are successful in plugging Femputer into the Falcon. Thus, canonically, the Millennium Falcon now has a character. Femputer is inside the Falcon and has been in the entirety of the OT. This fucking annoying droid lives matter piece of shit is apparently in all of the episodes that feature the fucking Falcon. I didn't even think you could ruin a ship, but you found a way, Disney. You fucking found a way.
Maybe it's just leave things alone and let them stay good? How about you take something bad and make that better? There's nothing wrong with the original works of Tolkien. Leave them alone.
So the fact that we're going to be seeing things that are potentially going to make us love the Hobbit films and the Lord of the Rings films and potentially the books as well.
Again, it could be worse from all those downvotes I think people will remember this for. Spiteful reasons. Another corporate takeover of a beloved franchise with a rich history.
So last night, we had our own little Middle-earth experience.
We did.
We did. Yo, how did it feel?
Like, it was such a good time, honestly, and the venue...
Amazon took a castle that was already built a long time ago and put their brand, politics, and dressed it all up with it. Sounds like a metaphor for what they were doing to J.R. Tolkien.
And everything, it just looked the part. It was incredible, and I think I was so happy to get to share it with you guys. Like,
one of us, one of us, one of us.
Look, our own little fellowship.
Well, it was amazing. Like, I felt like I really got to like step into another world, and then Kelsey and I, for like most of the evening, were just like dancing like hobbits in like our little blankets.
Yeah, you had your blankets around like...
Oh, Amazon gave them blankets. Why? Were they just rescued from a sinking ship out on the ocean there? They give them blankets to mimic the cloaks that help them hide from enemy eyes. Notice the lack of the small emblems or brooches. Also, they said that they were dancing like hobbits. Strange, since everyone in the Fellowship had them. You don't need to be a superfan to know this, since it's in the film that Amazon is copying. Also, this is pretty basic as a setup for these so-called fans of Tolkien. But let's be real. You're here to fill out a checkbox for diversity. Everyone knows this from what they're said and hearing from this video and how Amazon has responded. All the articles calling fans not liking the teaser as racist, for example. This is a common practice for companies in Hollywood now. What? You don't like how we handled your favorite properties and characters? You must be a sexist, or transphobic, homophobic, or racist. Disney did it with Captain Marvel and Star Wars, for example. These big companies hide behind mainstream media as a shield. These companies let this happen and accept it. Fans are passionate about their personal ownership of a property they love. So when they see something they don't like about something that is upcoming, they're going to tell you about it. It's true, fans can be overzealous in their reaction. However, most are giving their opinions, even if it's not fully constructive. Yes, there are death threats and sex and racist comments. However, these are the rarity and not supported by the fan community. These companies focus on those and say, see, all these fans are like this. Everyone should take the constructive criticism comments to heart to make their product better, but Amazon doesn't care about that. They want to make their show the way they want to, so shut up, fans.
Photo and like, you're just like spinning around.
I can't say that the moves are incredible, but the enthusiasm is certainly there.
Smile, or Amazon won't pay you.
It was very fun, and it was just nice to like get to like be with everyone and then like all sit together and react to the trailer.
If Middle-earth had like a...
That reaction was so overblown. You might have forgot that this is a teaser, but just remember that this woman is acting this way to something that is about 2 minutes long.
Club?
That was it.
That was it. That Gandalf and Saruman probably link up.
Yo, this tune is banging!
So this is where jokes go to die.
Exit the way of pain!
I just felt like a giant kid again.
Yeah.
Like, if childhood me could see this moment in my life, they would be like, wow.
Yeah, it is
How
crazy.
you made it to Middle Earth?
I'd like walk.
Adult me, why does Middle Earth look so cheap? Wait, it's coming up. The guy who pees.
Walking through the fire ring, it was so cool. And the cocktails were very nice.
There he is. He's on the right taking a leak. Hang on, I'll make it bigger. A clear metaphor for what's going on. How Amazon is paying on the true fans, or what the real fans think Amazon is doing. This was done by a multi-billion-dollar company, folks. Also, these superfans are so easily impressed with all these decorations. These are so minor that they need these artistic shots to show off the said decor in the video. Maybe we should be more mature and wait for more information to latch onto a product. This is the most Jingle Key kind of entertainment feeling I've seen ever since Doctor Strange 2 and the Multiverse of Madness. Ooh, spicy.
Those were very nice.
While we were waiting for like the trailer to play, the music was also playing. It was we were very much looking like New York Fashion Week.
We were sat in the front row, and the music that was playing, we were like, "Oh, we're gonna get a fashion show."
I remember putting out my phone. And I was like, "Yeah, it's Radio Lord of the Rings. Let's go."
Fashion show music fits so well with Lord of the Rings.
It's about to get lit like Mordor.
Going down to Hobbiton.
I know you guys are selfie holics, right? What was the best picture you took of the night?
My favorite picture I got was actually a picture you tried to take outside the castle.
That cut was there so you could mention that the picture wasn't it. These edits are awful for someone with so much money. They are not natural at all. I make better edits.
And it looks,
Wait, what happened? What happened?
It looks so cursed. It looks so cursed. We tried to take it with flash, and I just look like I'm haunting the castle.
Wow, I'm so glad we knew that you took that picture. This adds so much to the hype of the Rings of Power. They have other pictures, but this one was worth seeing, I guess. I mean, I think they have other pictures. If they were an influencer, wouldn't you take as many pictures or videos as you could? Heck, normal people would do this. Have anyone ever been or seen anyone on vacation? You have these people here. Show more than one to prove these are real fans. Or at least, is that the only one? This is kind of odd, is what I'm saying.
Was it that bad?
And it was just so funny. I looked at the phone and I was like, oh no.
That's the vibe I want to bring to everybody.
Ghost, yeah, ghost.
I know I'm a mystical, like, unknown creature.
Sorry, but you're just a young woman being used as a tool to push sales for a company that would run over your relatives for $1,000.
Aaron's daughter or something.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
All right, I want to hear your fan theories.
I feel like we're gonna see some early ruminations of like
fan theories? Wait, did we do this before? No, it was about the favorite things about the teaser. Proceed.
Rings of Power being forged, because during the Second Age, this is where like Sauron comes in and he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna teach
He's like, yo,
I'm
gonna make a ring right now.
I'm gonna teach you how to make some rings."
Why are we covering this again? I don't know. In any case, I would wonder if they know who forged the rings. From what I'm seeing, probably not. They would do another jump cut so Amazon can tell them from a Google search.
Like there needs to be a reason for the rings to be made, right? So obviously with the wars happening, and then like,
What was the reason?
Did he really not know? Is he not a super fan? They just act like Sauron just entered their heads. This is written in the Silmarillion about how Sauron lied to the elves to make the Rings of Power for all the races. Then from what he learned from the ring forgers, made the one ring to rule them all. This is pretty basic lore.
Sauron wanted to corrupt people.
Corrupt and control.
And plus, if we had that all like straight away, we need season 2, multiple season, you know.
One show to destroy them all. Well, they do have a second season, but these teasers and this super fans thing will leave a horrible taste in everyone's mouth.
Do you think we're going to see another side of Sauron?
Yes.
Like maybe he falls in love. Maybe there's a reason. Every villain's a hero in his own story,
I think
right?
we're going to find out more.
People are gonna fall in love with him and be like, I can change him.
Oh my gosh. He wants to ship evil people? Why is this a thing?
The Babadook are said to be dating, and they've become LGBTQ icons. These are horrific supernatural creatures from from It or whatever. I didn't see it. I don't really care. But the point is that Pennywise. At the very least, I know a little bit about him. He's not a good guy. I mean, he's like a demonic clown entity. But I guess because he's being shipped with the Babadook, all the horrible crimes he's committed, the fact that he is a personification of evil itself doesn't matter because he's LGBTQ.
I can change him. I can change him. I can change him.
If they make a love story for Sauron, it will be the dumbest thing ever. Sauron is the right hand of the devil of the Tolkien universe. He idolized Morgoth and wanted to rule Middle-earth with fear and power to force his will on others. Shut up, so-called superfans.
We all love a bad boy, don't we?
Do you have any predictions of what's going to happen in the series when September 2nd drops? Ooh.
Why are we here again? Stop saying the same things. My brain. Ah.
I just want to see Galadriel, basically the story of getting that dagger. I'm obsessed with that dagger too.
I feel like there's going to be a
dagger? Why? Who cares? And then the cut all of a sudden. Again, I'm so confused by that scene. Why do they put that in? It makes you look really shallow.
bit of romance. There's always romance amongst the elves, and it's like, you can't be with him.
Wow.
Why not? He's my ex.
Romance is always.
I saw there's like a human and an elf in like a forbidden romance kind of thing, and like.
Yeah, it worked so well with the Hobbit trilogy. People love that. And seemed to be a copycat of the other Lord of the Rings forbidden romances. The Hobbit made another elf and insert other race here, and fans hated it. Now most likely we're getting Hobbit's sloppy seconds of lazy writing. There is a forbidden romance in the Silmarillion, but I don't know if Amazon has the rights to that part. I think this is done just so we can have hashtag drama, and it's easy way to write it. Of course, it's all about how it's implemented. I don't believe myself that Amazon's showrunners can write it well.
During this period, like, humans and elves weren't really getting along, and so I think that's where some of the conflict might be coming in.
Yes, the fighting.
Yeah. A lot of stroking of the ears. Yeah, just like the elf ears. Right, I need a reason to tell everyone watching why they should watch the teaser trailer.
Galadriel, like, oh.
If you're a
It surprises you guys to have a lack of things to say, since it's a 2-minute teaser with little to work on?
lore buff like me, I think it will be really interesting to see this kind of expansive look at Middle-earth.
Nice. Kels?
If you just have a moment to just be a kid again and be in wonder and in awe, just take that moment. I think we all need it.
No. We need to stop this, okay? People need to stop relying on their emotions and grow up. You can be excited for any project, film, game, or whatever, and still be emotionally stable about it. Turn your brain on when it comes to media and ask yourself, what are they trying to tell you? I'm not saying your emotions are irrelevant, but it should not overshadow your logic. We learned this in elementary school, and some people haven't grown up. Act your age and not your shoe size. If you respect any part of the arts or filmmaking, then you need an objective standard to go by. It's okay to say you feel like a child again, but it needs to be tempered with your wisdom that comes with your age.
you're just gonna be transported to another world, and you're just gonna forget your own for the whole time you're gonna watch it.
I'm talking to you now, audience.
Buy my book! Buy my book! Buy my book!
Sorry, it had to be done.
From that teaser, I have no doubt is going to be epic.
Special thank you to my guests, the Fellowship of Influencers, Chanel, Joel, and Kelsey. Thank you for joining me.
Okay, it's over. It's done.
Mac wants the flamethrower. Mac wants the what? That's what he said. Now move.
All they do is shill some more, and don't worry, I'll link this video. So let's recap a bit with how I feel about what's going to happen with the show. I believe the show will be awful from a fan perspective. Tolkien did not like the modern age because of the trauma he went through during World War I. His lens was tainted by the event when writing Lord of the Rings. The showrunner's lens, or Amazon's, will be progressive and up to date. They have it so backwards. Tolkien is spinning so fast in his grave, we could use his body for energy for 10 years. It's like if they remade Narnia and it was remade by Satan worshippers. It would be a slap in the face of the fans. GR took his writing very seriously when he wrote it. He developed his world with great amount of detail. It has the history, lore, languages, races, monsters, and lessons people can learn from it. These books inspired parts of the Dungeons & Dragons creation. His works have had a huge impact on our culture, and not just the pop kind of culture. Amazon has taken that legacy and taken a steaming hot crap on it, from the fans' point of view. This is the real reason people hate the Superfans video and the Amazon's Rings of Power teaser. Also, the big company is deleting comments and trying to silence criticism of their product. Not only that, they put out articles on the same day that the Superfans video came out calling fans racist.
Geek culture, then quite frankly, I don't know what does. And obviously, if we're going to talk about what's great about Britain and what should be kept or destroyed, then I would expect to always consult someone who's from China. But it's not as if they don't understand the significance of Tolkien's work. So it says in The Lord of the Rings, Tolkien consolidated and popularized things like elves, dwarves, and the Dark Lord, and these have ingrained themselves into humanity's collective cultural psyche. Yidris has sparked considerable excitement from fans and critics alike. Honestly, mainly critics. Critics love it. Fans, not so much. Adaptations, Arendar and Disa, played respectively by people, will be the first non-canonical elf and dwarf on the screen. And look, however, has antagonized Lord of the Rings fans who argue that destroying the characters undermines the authenticity out of the adaptation. And I think that sentence basically speaks for itself, doesn't it? It's amazing how when you replace the words that they try and frame something as the words they actually mean, suddenly there's nothing wrong with the sentence. Yes, it turns out that if you argue that destroying canon undermines the authenticity of the adaptation, of course it does.
This is a norm for companies, just to blame fans because a few are acting like morons. I'm a more casual fan of Lord of the Rings, but I can see why this was a bad move for Amazon. Well, anyway, my fan rant is over. Let's see this from a non-fan perspective now, without going too much into the adaptation argument. The show could be good. There are shows or movies that use the source material in name only, but the product is well written and acted. The Haunting of Hill House is a good example of this. The Netflix show is very loosely based on the book with the same name. The acting, direction, writing, and camera work is great, except for the last episode, but still, it was a fantastic show overall. This could be the case with The Rings of Power, but by what they're doing, it's really doubtful. Amazon is so defensive when criticized for who they are casting and why, making this video as a shield and deleting comments. People see all this and don't like it. The mass public are sick of the social justice outlook on media that say you're garbage. Buy our crap. Amazon is full of social justice nonsense. When it comes to this sort of casting, I'm not entirely talking about historical context. But however, if you are, you do need it. For example, William Wallace was a white Scottish and Zulu was a black African. Changing those things would make people a little irate or tilt your head, to say the least. The doubt is strong with these super fans and the Amazon Rings of Power, okay? Well, I wanted to know what others thought, so I asked some friends from Discord about the teaser in the video we just went through, and here's what they had to say.
Whenever a new piece of media is announced that attaches itself to a previously established story, there is always one simple question. Is this a story that needed to be told? The truth is, I don't have many positive or negative comments to make about the Rings of Power. There's only so much you can derive from a 1-minute teaser. Putting that aside, if I had to choose one word to best describe how I felt after watching it, it would be underwhelmed. I'll admit being a tad confused at seeing a Galadriel looking very different from Lord of the Rings, considering the fact that elves lived for thousands of years without having their appearance change. I understand that this is a different actress portraying the character, and that naturally there will be some differences. That being said, unless they were unable to cast Cate Blanchett for the role and apply a bit of makeup or de-aging, I don't see this as a valid line of reasoning. I was also a bit surprised to see members of previously established homogeneous groups, that being the elves and the dwarves, being portrayed by black actors respectively. This naturally drums up a few questions that I have circulating in the old noggin. The first being, why are we contradicting the source material for the sake of racial representation? The characters in Lord of the Rings were never representing anyone living in our world today. There's nothing about Aragorn or Legolas that I can relate to solely based on their appearance alone. When we examine the source material and where Tolkien draws a lot of his inspiration for these different races, you'll find many of them are from Norse mythology. Naturally, this means you're going to see a lot of fair-skinned individuals. In recent times, I often hear people complaining about racial representation in some of my favorite media. I'm not sure I understand why this is so important. Not only is this a juvenile way of looking at the world, it's very problematic. Conversations can get very awkward when you're more concerned with a skin color than with a character's motivations or personality. Long before I was born, a man stood up and said, "Judge me not by the color of my skin, but by the contents of my character." Much the same as with superheroes, other fantasy characters often represent something that's larger than life itself. It's preposterous to think that because a character in a piece of fiction shares the same skin tone as you, that you can relate to them in any way. So what do I think of the Rings of Power Superfans video? Well, I think that the entire video is one big insult to anyone who loves Tolkien's work. What I see is a heavily edited, pandering piece of garbage wrapped up in the Amazon logo and shipped straight to the homepage of YouTube. When greeted by the superfans in this video, you immediately get the sense that they're actors. What they're saying feels scripted, as if it's being read off a teleprompter or a set of cue cards. Another thing that I found extremely distracting was the lack of speculation on the show itself. They spend as much or more time in the video talking about the diversity of color and how it makes them feel. The constant reframing of Tolkien's world as a focus on inclusion is touched upon merely to praise the casting decisions. There's so much emphasis put on something so small, and I'm supposed to believe that this will inspire new generations of fans simply because they see someone who looks like them. It completely misses the point of why we love the original characters in the first place. At around 2/3 into the video, this review of a teaser trailer turns into them talking about how much fun it was to attend an exclusive event catered by Amazon. These paid shills are unironically talking about how much fun it was to attend an event exclusively for them. Overall, I'd say that this discussion is laughably bad and it deserves all the dislikes it currently has at the making of this video. Of course, you can't see these without a certain Chrome extension allowing you to do so. It's not very hard to find, so if you want to see where the ratio stands today, you can do so and marvel at their failure. The dislikes were taken away so that everyone can enjoy videos online in a safe and inclusive environment. Just remember, we're all in this together.
Hello there, survivors, and thank you, Guardian, for the invitation to share my thoughts about the subject. First and foremost, I like the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogy, even if there are some tismy moments in it. That being said, I am not a die-hard Tolkien fan, and I am unaware of most of the material littered throughout the man's work. So, when I first heard that there was going to be a new series that takes place in Middle-earth, I was excited to come back to such a rich setting. But, as time went on, and the more properties got milked and starved for everything they're worth, I grew skeptical of the upcoming show. Even more so, once I had heard the interviews from the creative team talk about their interpretation of Tolkien's work, rather than try to create a faithful adaptation. Rumors began spreading around that Amazon wanted the show to be the next Game of Thrones, violence and sexual content included, and that was when I became worried. After seeing my favorite franchise get shat on and set ablaze, all in the name of Rey Palpatine, I could sympathize heavily with the Tolkien fanbase. Then, the first trailer dropped. I have no opinions either way specifically about what we have seen because there is nothing in there to grab a hold of story-wise. We see some characters and some new vistas which look similar to the world of Middle-earth and yet somehow don't fit the aesthetic properly either. As for the actors, normally I would chalk that up to the company trying to get the best actor for the role regardless of skin color. However, it's been very apparent that since it was discussed by the developers from almost a year ago, this is not the case. These people have been hired to play these roles, specifically to check a box on what the company thinks should be the proper amount of representation in any show or movie moving forward. The best we could hope for is that the story does not revolve around this ridiculous premise, and that everyone tries their hardest to not only give a good performance, but also that there is an understandable and coherent story throughout. Now, as for the marketing and how Amazon has been handling things since the initial teaser trailer, that is an entirely different matter. Since the marketing has been so focused on diversity, rather than honoring the author's intent with what is arguably the greatest fantasy tale ever written, fan backlash has been on the rise, and for good reason. The telltale signs of manipulation and defacing of another beloved franchise can already be seen from the company, and all I can do is applaud how hard the fanbase is fighting against the oncoming destruction that I'm sure will follow in September. The company first put out a promotional video about a group of people who are trying to act like they have a shared love for this franchise, but it comes across as pandering and downright scripted. Also, there's a guy pissing in the corner in the part of the video. After many pointed this out, the video was unlisted. However, the foul stench of hypocrisy and piss still lingers in the air. As for the teaser trailer, it was discovered that there has been a mass purging of comments from the video, in excess of almost 30,000 as of late. But that's not even the most troubling part. It seems that in YouTube's efforts to get rid of the dislike extension, it slipped out that the teaser trailer had almost 2 million dislikes compared to the almost 170,000 it showed almost a week before. Then 2 days later, the dislikes dropped down to 1.2 million. YouTube is either working with or is being bought out by Amazon to obscure the like to dislike ratio as much as possible to try and keep people interested in the upcoming show. Amazon, I'm talking directly to you now. What have you done? You've been given a chance to try and catch lightning in a bottle once again, and with such a massive budget. Your marketing should have focused on what story threads there might be in the show. How actors were cast because of their auditions, not because of their skin color. And even if you wanted to take some creative liberties, you should have explained how this show could be an otherworld story, or even better yet, keep the original characters out of the mix. This was a chance to create a spin-off series that could have expanded the world, not shrink it down to a color wheel. Also, thanks for letting us know that there will be a mass genocide in your show because none of these skin tones will be around in 1,000 years. Good job. The floor is yours, Guardian. I've got to go back to my radioactive wasteland where things make more sense before I blow my brains out. Good day, sir.
Thanks, guys. And if you really want to know how people feel, just some guy videos and Nerdrotic and whatever else I've used. I mean, you can look at YouTube. They're all done. And also, these videos will give you a good rundown. This is the end, and make sure to go to my friends, links below, down for everything, including the original video, And I will see you later, and make sure that you don't, shill or defend a multi-million-dollar company just because you like certain things about something. Ciao.